today. So every day we start fresh because we can't affect the past, but we damn sure can make a difference today.
Welcome to episode 64 of Shop Talk. Jennifer and Kari here. And we're back to discuss episode 2 of season 5 for The Rookie and the premiere of The Rookie Feds. So we'll just jump right into the news because it's going to be a long episode. And we've got episode descriptions for episodes 3. So for The Rookie, episode 3 is called Die Hard. We saw the promo for it last night. But Officer John Nolan is assigned to his first rookie, Officer Selena Juarez, whose unconventional approach to police work poses a unique challenge for him. I'm excited for this episode. I really am.
Yep. Same here. I'm just excited to see Lisette Chavez back in not that she was in uniform on Chicago PD really, but just you know what I mean,
Yeah.
back on a procedural.
And the promo gave us more to go off of than the episode description. We see Lucy locked in what looks like a storage container or a freezer or something. And Tim's all worried. So that's probably going to bring back 211 vibes or 210 vibes. And then we see Selena and John in plain clothes. It's Selena's first scene. She's in plain clothes already. So yeah, it's going to be exciting. But take us through the episode description for Rookie Feds.
So one of 3 of Feds is called Star-Crossed, and Garza's unit gets roped into a complicated kidnapping case involving a forbidden relationship between 2 rival drug dealing gangs. Meanwhile, Simone's love life is heating up. Laura comes face to face with her past, and Carter tries to reconnect with his wife. So lots of, I'm sure it's gonna be, the rookie universe, I guess I can say now, does that well where they balance, action and then personal or relationship things. But
yeah,
I'm just excited to see it, happen for this show too. So
yeah, I feel like Rookie Feds is going to be a lot like Rookie was in season 1, where it's just a bunch of different storylines all happening in one episode. So
yep.
I don't know, it'll be interesting because in episode 1 it seems like Laura and Carter knew a lot about each other. So I'm wondering does Laura know about his wife? Does she know his wife? Who knows? So yeah. And then we also had one post-mortem article from 501, and it had a little bit of news about Selena. So we pretty much we've already talked about all of the post-mortem stuff. So we just kind of wanted to talk about the Selena stuff. And the article was talking to Alexi about Nolan's the oldest rookie training officer and how he could become the oldest rookie detective over time, but for now he's responsible for someone else. So we'll kind of in a way get to see him become a rookie again because he's learning something new on the job. But the writers wanted to create a character and purposely tried to create a character that would be a fun challenge for him. And not necessarily in an expected way, but more of a fun way. So to kind of keep him on his heels, which I don't know. I like to see that for John. I like to see him constantly questioning things, being shocked, being kind of surprised in a way. And so when it was asked if Selena was going to be a specific challenge to him or will it be a challenging relationship with everyone, Alexi had said that she's not a challenge to everyone. It's just the way that she operates and the way that she sees the world. So it's a little bit unique to the show. But Alexi has said that he's always said that they're a character show masquerading as a cop show. So that's the first goal, is how do they create a dynamic character who is a way to amplify Nolan and also stand on her own. So she's not designed to be a negative impact on the station. She's more designed to be a bit of a wild card for Nolan. So that'll be really interesting to see.
Yeah.
And
then there was another article specifically about this episode of The Rookie that talked a little bit about what's going on with Nyla. So when she returns to work after her maternity leave, they'll be diving into like her partnership with Angela, because they're both the detectives now. And so they'll definitely like lean into their, their working mothers and how that, how they both handle that. So um that'll be fun because that was one of the things on my wish list. So I'm glad that's like coming true.
Yeah. No, there's supposed to be some kind of time jump too, because like Nyla is back in the next episode, but like we know
Oh, that's
that
true.
maternity
Yeah.
leave is
So
at least
6 weeks.
like a month. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Well, that's what they said in this episode. They're like 6 weeks. And I was like, okay. So
yeah.
I
Yeah,
guess
but
expected 6 week time jump at
mhm,
least.
yeah.
Which I guess would make more sense because then like because Lucy's going to the school, like the
Mhm,
program or whatever,
yeah.
obviously gone for more than a day.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I don't know. The whole like rookie timeline was weird because like, they showed the preview from last episode and like Rosalind's lawyer was talking to Wesley and she's like, I heard you're joining the DA's office. And he was like, yeah, next week. So like we're supposed to assume that it's been a week since 501.
yeah.
But then like, I don't know, like there's and then like the UC school like director or whatever had came to Lucy and was like, yeah, like you can start Monday. So it's like what part of this like new week are they in? Are we supposed to assume that like they're
Yeah.
on like a Monday or what? Like I don't know. So yeah, it was interesting. And then just as a reminder, day that this drops Tuesday, the Rookie Feds is airing episode 2 tonight. So it'll be fun because the promo photos for it look really interesting. Same with the promo. So yeah. But with that, I think we should just jump right into covering the rookie first and then the Rookie Feds. So
Mhm.
yeah, take us
Yep.
away.
So to start off the Labor Day episode, um, I just love that like John and Aaron were like paired together because Gray at the beginning, is talking to Nolan about his exam and everything and how he did well, and they need someone to finish kind of training Aaron, and so like that's gonna be John's like trial run, because Aaron only has like a few weeks left. So, and John being John, he's like, yeah, sure, like he's just ready to like ready for anything. And so he goes out to like the uh like garage area, which I forget who said it. It might have been M on Twitter, was like, the garage is bigger and it has stairs. Like, so the set's obviously changed since they're at Paramount now, which I just thought was funny. Um, and so we see Aaron has like coffee for John, and like he like comes up and is like, he's already, gotten like the war bags, prepped the shop and all this stuff. And Nolan's like, Nyla taught you well. And this is where we get the moment from the little like sneak peek preview of, when Aaron's like, well, I like to start my morning off with a TikTok dance, and he just starts going into it, and John's like, okay, don't be too much yourself. So that was just funny. Like, I don't know, just there's just something about like the two of them that are, it's just funny because like we'll see like a little bit later, they're like driving along before they get their first call, and uh John like throws some questions at Aaron, like what color was the truck from like, 3 vehicles back or whatever, and how many people did we pass on this thing and this thing, and it's like um Aaron's passing with flying colors, and then John's like, well, what's the best thing? I forget what he said, like something like whatever the best adhesive for like
Mm-hmm.
putting something to tile. And Aaron was like, well, there's a lot of options, but it have to be something silicone based. And he's like, how? Like John just looks at him, he's like, how did you know that? It's like, you told me yesterday. So it's like John's like talkative nature like kind of backfired a little bit, and it was
Yeah.
just funny. um
So like they say that Aaron has a few more weeks. So
yeah,
okay, say the time jump is 6 weeks or whatever. Like, are we supposed to assume that Aaron will be a P2 by the time Selena comes in?
maybe.
I mean, I would think so. It's so
Yeah, I guess
interesting,
it
the
would make
rookie
sense.
curves. Yeah.
because then it's like Selena's like the rookie, you
Mhm.
know, like I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess. So like well, I guess it's like their first and like technically only call of the episode. It starts off as a welfare check. Um, but then once they see, well, what they think is like smoke coming from the garage, they have to get it open. And it's the like carbon monoxide from a car that's running in the garage. Someone's in the car. And they're the ones that obviously, like I said, like they find the body because the guy has died, and he was also a police officer, specifically a sheriff's deputy. So when Angela gets there, she's like, we'll be sure to like honor him by doing this like investigation, right? And so I just thought that was good because it's like it's like one of their own, like they want to understand like why this happened, because it's like it it appears that it was a suicide, but after Nolan takes a trip to the ME's office, there's like evidence to suggest that that's not the case. That like, well, the guy's name was Garrett Patel. He could have been like wearing a wire possibly, and there were like fibers around his wrist, so like there were restraints at one point that were like removed. And so obviously like someone did this to him and then made it look like a suicide. And so they don't like immediately have ideas, but like since it's assumed that he was doing like an undercover thing, um there could be like a lot of you know various criminals that they could have crossed paths with. um so it's helpful that like they called in Patel's ex-wife, and she was like, well, he was close with his coworkers, like they can't, I guess they had poker nights, and like everyone was pretty like okay in her opinion, except for like Rick, I guess, gave her like a bad vibe. It was kind of shady, but like she just kind of like his like I don't know, like camaraderie like kind of turned into like a him being like heavily influenced by his coworkers' behavior. And so like that kind of created a rift in like their marriage. And then so that's why she was like they call themselves the crew. Like they're a fully like formed, they're a group that has this kind of like silent code and like how to act and be, and like it kind of like it can change people, um as evidenced by like her ex-husband's change in demeanor. um and so Angela, that was interesting because as she tells Aaron, John, and Tim later, she was like, well, once you have a name, it pretty much means you're going to prison. And I just thought that was funny because then Nolan was like, well, yeah, but what if you have, what if it's this? And she's like, jail. Like, you're,
Yeah.
like, that's it. And so the crew, they're also sheriff's deputies, and their thing is that they're ripping off drug dealers that they're supposed to arrest. And because they did the like reversals kind of was like their thing. And so it started off as that, but then obviously they went all way rogue and off book, and rip people off instead of getting them off the street. And so it turns out that, well, there was one dealer that like ended up talking, telling like everyone who would listen about this group that ripped him off. And they were going to talk to him, but he was quote unquote mysteriously shanked in prison. So he's dead. They can't talk to him. And so like they have to get the recordings if they want a case, at least according to Wesley anyway, tells that to Angela. And so because Garrett had recordings like on like from the wire of like by name. So like they state their names, like they know who it is, and what they're doing. And so that's why he was obviously killed. And John and Aaron are like instrumental in finding this evidence that's needed to put like Walt and Rick away. Well, there were like, okay, so there's like 3 guys in the crew. There were like 2 of them that were at Patel's house, like the crime scene. Well, it wasn't crime scene tape, the like orange, but there was orange
Like the
tape,
caution tape.
yeah, like on the door when Tim and Angela had come up. And so like obviously someone else was in the house that shouldn't have been. And so 2 of the guys were at the house like moving things around, like trying to find the like recordings. And so I just thought it was cool though that like Tim had to take like Walt down, and like Angela was like, don't, and like had her gun like ready. Like they were, I don't know, it was just like badass. And I hope we get more like Tim and Angela moments like that, because they're just fun. And so like they're arrested for obstruction, obviously, and evidence tampering, but they didn't catch Rick. So like Rick was already on his way to the like, I guess it was like, what is it, coast to post or whatever the heck it was, the office where the evidence was. And so Angela like calls up John and is like, you guys need to get there before Rick does, or else like he's gonna destroy the evidence and we don't have anything. They didn't exactly make it there like before he did, but there was a short shootout and a very, very short like chase. And John managed to apprehend Rick. I just thought it was so funny though, because John was like, okay, I'm gonna go in this way, you're gonna, go around back. And then poor Aaron had to get out of the shop because there was like a truck or something like blocking his way. And he's like, oh damn, like I gotta go run. And then so he just like is running all the way around and then finally meets up with John, and he's just like, where have you been? And Aaron's just like, like he can't even like say words. He's just like
Aaron's like
emotioning
emotioning to things. Yeah.
He's like, I had to do all this, but it's just his hand motions, and it's just comedy gold.
Yeah. I can't remember who said it on Twitter, but they were like, the rookie really missed the opportunity to call it back to like episode 1 when Talia was like, or when someone was like, welcome to the arrest.
Oh
like,
yeah, that's him. And then John was like,
yeah,
okay, and then like thumbs up kind of, but not really, because he was too busy like heaving.
But John would never be that shady. So
no. But it was just, it was too, that's funny. True. That is a good callback. Yeah, they did kind of miss the opportunity. But still, I mean, I think like the where have you been, like, or like where were you, was like,
well, when it
kind of like Nolan's way.
Yeah, and especially coming like the way that Nolan said it. It was like, well, where have you been? Like, you've been doing this for how long?
It
was good.
Yeah. And so towards the end of the episode, we get a nice moment. I still don't really, not that I don't believe that like Aaron was genuine. I'm just so shocked that he said that like John was his favorite.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, sir, you had Queen Nyla Harper
for longer. Like he literally had John for 1 day.
Like, wow. Like, I mean, I don't know. I mean, his reason was like valid. Like, I mean, Nolan does like teach by like asking questions and like getting, and like using that information to inform his teaching. But like, still, I was just kind of surprised that he was like, no, I mean it. And I was like, oh no, say it's Nyla instead. Not that I don't, whatever. That sounds bad. Like, not that, Nolan can't be a favorite TO, but just, like you said, like Nyla was his training officer for longer, and just,
Yeah.
whatever. It was
I
just
don't
a
know.
little awkward. Like, I don't know. I just didn't really buy it,
I think John will be a good TO. I think like at this point for Aaron, like he's already learned so much that he can pretty much like bounce around from TO 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 if he needs to, and like he's got it. Like he can handle himself. But I think like if John had been his TO from the very beginning, Aaron probably wouldn't be saying that. Maybe, I mean, that is John's kind of way of learning is by asking, and like, it makes sense that that's his teaching style, but I don't know. I guess we'll really see how he is once or next week. Because he
Yeah.
also has to like go to like TO school or something, like a class.
Oh yeah, to like finish
So
getting
yeah.
officially certified or whatever. Yeah.
I mean, in pretty much every storyline, they were alluding to a time jump of some kind. So
Yeah, except they
yeah,
kept saying like a week.
yeah,
Like whatever, but obviously it's gonna be longer than that.
yeah,
So
yeah. So
yeah.
oh my gosh, and like Tim and Angela, like with the burrito and stuff. Oh my God, we just need more Tim and Angela BFF moments. Like, please.
Yeah, they were so funny. I was just like, well, and like Tim was like so casual too. I guess I forgot to mention when he like went up to the truck to like get the burrito just
Mhm.
so he could question the guys and like try to get information from them.
Yeah,
And then he comes back and Angela's like, hello, what about my burrito? And he's like,
yeah.
I got distracted. Like, I'm sorry.
And he just says it like nonchalant, but then he also like has a little bit of edge in his voice, like don't test me here. Like
Yeah.
I was busy.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, it was definitely a callback to what was it, like season one when Jackson went to like go get our falafel and he's like, oh, they ran out, and she's like, what'd you get me? Like this woman, I love her.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, so then next we have Nyla and James. And they had just moved into their new house and Nyla's in labor. So there's boxes all over. James is like getting the security system set up and they're just trying to make things happen. So then we should have known that like this birth wasn't gonna go according to plan. I mean, we figured anyway from like the promo, but like when James said that this birth will be different, like, oh yeah, it'll be different, all right. Like,
I didn't really
don't
put
you
it
worry.
together that she was gonna have a home birth. I don't
I
know how
didn't
I didn't
either.
really put it. Oh, okay, I was like, I just like that just went over my head.
I didn't either. Like, because we had seen like the birthing pool and stuff like in the promo, but I don't know. You hear people like trying to labor and stuff like as much as they can at home before they go in. I don't know. I just figured that. And then when I was watching it, was like, wait, didn't like when she had Lila, didn't she like bleed out or something? And they said that it was going to be dangerous for her to like ever have another baby or something.
Yeah,
But
well,
like,
she was told that she like couldn't get pregnant again, so
so
it was
like,
like
why wouldn't you want to go to the hospital? I don't know.
I
I
think
just,
just maybe it just was too much, and she's just like,
yeah,
no, like if I'm gonna, well, because she had mentioned it later, she was like, I think it was on the phone to like Nolan or whatever. She's like, I just want to suffer in peace. So maybe
yeah,
that's kind of her thing. I don't know.
yeah. I don't know. I
She
was
was a mood
like,
in this episode, though.
she
My
was
God.
a whole mood, iconic. I mean, I don't know. I just put that together and I was like, wait, why
Yeah.
no? But then like James had said that like his kids were both born at home, so it was just something that they agreed on. But anyway, there's like thrash metal music playing, and Nyla's of course not having any of it. So James is like, I'll go over there and like tell them to turn it down. And despite him saying no, Nyla's like, she's gonna go over there too, because why not? Um, and when they don't listen to James about shutting it off, she flashes her badge and they like turn it down. Um, so then like James is helping Nyla more through the labor and like she notices a wonderful smell and he's like, yeah, I rubbed lavender oil on my skin to like help calm you, and he just gets the best husband award. And I'm glad that we saw like all of this because we didn't get this with Lopez. It was just like
So
flash
true.
forward and they had a kid. Um,
Yeah. I
I
mean, we got
mean,
like mentions of it. We didn't actually like see, like,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
So then, they hear the neighbors yelling outside, and that was like, I'm going over there again. Um, and James is like, no, don't, like, you're gonna stress the baby out. And then they hear gunshots, and James is like, that was fireworks, right? Like, he's trying to keep her calm, but obviously she knows, like, so she calls it in. And who else responds to the call other than Smitty?
I was so surprised. I guess I must have missed Brent's name in the like opening credits
Yeah,
or whatever
I
because
must have too.
I was like, oh, hi, Smitty.
This man has been busy. I mean, like he popped up on Rookie Feds last week. He's got
Yeah.
the rookie, like he is busy. But he responds to the call and says the neighbors were like watching something that, Nyla and James just must have heard. Like they do have a good sound system. And Nyla's like, no, what I heard was gunshots. So Smithy's like, we did a thorough search of the house. There was no foul play. And Smithy's like, the only guns I saw were on his arms. Like the dude is ripped. And Smitty is such a fanboy. Like, oh my God, we'll get into it later with Feds, but like, oh my God, Smitty is a
Wow, I
whole
didn't even put
mood.
that together. Yeah, oh my God.
Smithy is a whole mood.
Funny.
And so then Nyla like sits back and she's like, you're as much help as I thought you would be. Um, and so he's like, do you need my help with anything else? And she just says no. And he goes in for a high five and she leaves him hanging, like, and just walks away or something. So then, like, the neighbors are having this stare down with Nyla and James. James is like inclined to believe that the noise was from whatever they were watching. Like, again, I don't think he is completely unaware that she knows what like they could be up to. He's
Yeah.
not. He's just
He
trying to like
just
keep her calm.
Yeah, he just doesn't want her to go and like deal
Yeah,
with it because
yeah,
she's, as Gray apparently said last episode, 11
yeah.
months pregnant. So,
I mean, she is like in labor. Like,
yeah.
yeah. So then Lucy, I love her. She stops by to see Nyla and, asks for advice on UC school. She brings food along with like some other things to help with labor. And Nyla, quickly turns the conversation around and she's like, what do you think about that house across the street? And Lucy's like, oh, I didn't really like pay attention to it. Like, I mean, it looks like a fine house or whatever. And so Lucy then asks again if she should say yes to UC school. And Nyla's like, I'm sorry, what? And so James answers for her and, just tells Lucy, like, say yes. Okay, bye. Like,
Yeah, literally shuts the door. I was like,
I was like,
oh.
oh, poor Lucy. But like, also, they have much bigger things to worry about right now.
Yeah.
Like, besides I mean, between the labor and then whatever is going on across the street, like, they have much bigger things to worry about. So then Nyla's like back up in the bedroom. This woman, I tell you, she had a whole pair of binoculars looking out the window across the street. And she sees one of the neighbors like standing outside, kind of like standing guard. And then, he goes in and another guy like puts him and another guy like put a rug out into the trunk of the car. And it looks like there's a body in it. So she goes outside and waits for them to like go back into the house so she can go and search the car. Because even when this woman is in labor, she is not stopping being a cop. So then like she, sees the rug with the black trash bag and the jug of hydrofluoric acid. And she hears the guys come back out, and Nyla like hides behind a bush. And she's pretty much in active labor now. Like her water at some point broke. And so then, like James, again, best husband award, comes running out in just a towel across the
At
street.
first I thought they were shorts. Just the way they were on, like the way the towel was on him, I thought they were shorts. And then he turned around, I was like, nope, that is the towel.
I was waiting for the comedic moment where like the towel just drops or something. I was just like, I'm just waiting for it. So then, like James is like, oh, our cat got out. Like, we are hoping that we find her and everything. And he's trying to distract him so that Nyla can get out of there, which I mean, it was funny when he was like running back and he was like waving and he's like, thanks again.
Yeah.
Like, oh James, we don't deserve you. So then like he's back in the house, Nyla comes in and she's like, don't lecture me because my water just broke. So then Nyla, again, she can't let this go. She calls Gray across the street, or about the house across the street. And she wants him to look into the neighbors. And, she's like, they're messing with my birth plan. Like, I'm just asking for a quiet labor and it's not happening. So she explains what she found, but it was all without a warrant. So Gray's like, I'll run the homeowner and I'll know the associates, but like, you focus on having the baby. And if I find anything, I'll get in touch. So Nyla and James like continue working through her contractions, and then the security alarm app goes off, and it's like detecting a window open downstairs And then the lights go out because why wouldn't they? So Nyla's like, get my gun out of the safe, like get it right now.
Yeah,
And
and James was like, wait, and she's like, get me my damn gun.
yeah,
She's
he's like,
I'm
you're
playing
fully
around.
dilated. And she's like, I don't care, just get me the damn gun. Um, but then like he grabs a baseball bat because he's gonna go and check it out. So he grabs the baseball bat, searches around, only to be tackled to the ground. He takes the guy down too. They're like fighting. Nyla hears everything, and then like I don't know, she saw a shadow or something. And so then we end up seeing the other neighbor like walk up and into the bedroom with a flashlight and a gun. But there's no sign of Nyla. Like he's looking in the bathroom. He even goes over to the closet. And again, no sign. Like she would be in that pool. Guys, she literally rises from the pool. And like the music playing was like horror movie music. And I mean, the look on her face, everything was just chef's kiss. And she like has her gun raised and she demands that he drops his, obviously. And then she's like, I'm in here giving life, but I will take yours even if you even twitch. And we don't see anything more from James and Nyla, but like we do see Gray pull up and then we hear gunshots come from like the top bedroom. And Gray, like, of course, busts into the house, takes the guy on top of James out, and then James like runs up to Nyla and he finds the guy that she shot on the ground, still alive, compressing his wound. And she's holding the baby with her gun still pointed at the guy, and she's just like, "It's a girl." Like that's all that she needed to say. It was too
Yeah.
good.
It
Too good.
reminded me that of like the cold open when she and John got like the glitter
Gender reveal,
blasted
yeah,
on them. Yeah, and they were like, they're having twins.
yeah,
She like delivered it similarly
yeah.
in that like I mean there was still a little bit obviously more like emotional inflection in her
Right.
voice, but still it was just like it's a girl. Like, you know, like I
Yeah.
did all this. Like, hi, welcome to the party.
Like where have you been?
Yeah,
But I mean,
exactly.
even her face, like her lips were pursed and everything, and she kind of like tilted her head, like, look at this is what I did. Like, what did
Yep.
you just do?
Mhm.
So good.
Yep.
So then at the end of like their storyline, we see James, Nyla, and baby Harper Murray. Cause like we don't have her name.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Harper would be a really cute name for her. Like,
Mm.
but then Angela walks in and Gray just tells her like she was right about the body, and Angela says that Nyla definitely has the best childbirth storyline. And Nyla's like, oh, but you had the whole Guatemala thing. She kind of battles her on that. And James is like, just accept the crown. Like just accept it at this point. And so then Nyla's like, I'm not doing any more investigations while I'm on maternity leave. Like, unless an escaped convict comes into my mommy and me class, then I'll have no choice. But other than that, no investigations. And that's kind of where we leave Nyla and James.
Mhm.
Like it was a good episode, and I liked how we got to see more of a focus on them because we hadn't seen like a lot of focus on a Nyla storyline since I don't know. I would say season 2 when she came in, but I mean there was definitely moments in season 3
Yeah.
and 4, but yeah.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
that is it for Nyla and James. What
They
about
like
Lucy?
really like just like the first promo when we first saw everything, they made it seem like Rosalind did that, you know?
Yeah,
And I was just like, wow, they really like played us good.
yeah. So like we never got like an actual like 502 specific promo. Like after 501 we got more of
I
like
mean,
a
we
what's
kind
coming
of
in season
did.
5.
It was like just the stuff about Nyla and James, though. Like, it didn't
Yeah,
really have anything with like John and Aaron or
yeah. But like we totally
Tim,
thought that
even.
the Nyla and James stuff was gonna happen like in the first episode. But
Yeah,
like you
they
know how
really.
like for 503 we got like the like specific 503 promo after this episode. Like we never
Mhm.
got like a 502 lone promo. Like it was always like either this is what's coming up in season 5 and like 502 was mixed in with that, which is fine. Or the 501 promo and 502 was like mixed into that. It was just kind of odd. But yeah. So,
Yeah. So for Lucy and Chris, I like that they kind of like, well, I guess they didn't technically end the episode, but they started the episode. I
Yeah.
was just glad. I mean, obviously, like the promo photos for 503 came out prior to like this 502 airings, and
Yeah.
everyone knew that like Chris was okay. Um, I was glad he was okay. Um, I just, yeah, like I just breathed a huge sigh of relief. For that because like Lucy's helping him like inside her apartment after he came home from the hospital. She got a new sofa, which cool. um and they're like gonna settle in to watch TV, and I just thought that title sequence was so cool, like that they
Mhm.
turn on the TV, like almost breaking the fourth wall kind of with it. And then you just hear the rookie or see the title card. So that
I
was
feel like if
fun.
it's not already a GIF, it definitely needs to be. I feel
I
like I've
think it
seen it
is.
as a GIF,
I
but
think it
yeah.
is. Yeah, it was just that was just good. Um and like obviously like Lucy's still like, she's like not like fussy over him, but just wanting to like, just do everything like with him and for him just because, she's obviously still like blaming herself, even though Chris is like, you shouldn't, because it's like he, he's here, he's okay, like they're,
Yeah.
they're gonna be okay. Um, and so I just thought it was funny though that like their kiss was interrupted by the recruitment officer showing up at
And
Lucy's
like,
door.
and her door was left open,
Yeah,
which was kind of odd to me, but I was like, well, she just wanted to get him comfortable.
yeah. Hmm. Um, and so the recruitment officer came to ask Lucy about joining their like UC school in uh Sacramento, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
And she, is like, oh, thanks, for, like this offer. Like, I'll have to think about it because I have some stuff going on in my personal life. You could kind of, you want to know what I just thought of though? Because,
But
like, okay, so like Chris hears that because obviously, like, you see a little bit of that, like, what Lucy says, like, register on his face
yeah.
of like, oh, I'm the personal stuff. Um, but then Chenford takes like two more steps outside of her door, and magically we're supposed to maybe think that he didn't hear
Right?
anything.
And
Like,
again,
wow.
and
I
again,
just
the
thought of
door is
that.
left open.
Yeah.
Door, like, why are we leaving the door open?
Wow. I don't know. I don't
It's just
know. Maybe, oh gosh, maybe that'll come back around. I don't know, but I just now thought of that. I was like, whoa.
I'm
Like,
thinking,
you take two more steps and magically
yeah.
can't hear.
I'm thinking the door was left open like for the camera purposes or whatever. I don't know. But
Maybe.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was just kind of odd. But
It was,
like
yeah, it was
also
interesting.
what was weird was like there was no mention of Rosalind still like being on the loose. Like it was just like,
Yeah.
okay, well, we've kind of forgotten about Rosalind like still being on the loose here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna assume obviously it's gonna come back around like for next episode. So
Yeah.
maybe they're just kind of, like, okay, we gotta, like usher Chris back in, and
Yeah.
kind of get,
Get him a
that
good.
established.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because my theory about tomorrow was debunked by the 503 promo photos
Well,
that
they
were
just like they had
today,
just added those because like they
which
were,
thank God.
yeah. Yeah. Oh my God. Those photos, sorry, if you guys hadn't actually seen them on Twitter, hopefully you had, but it's like a like welcome home
Yeah.
Lucy like party kind of, I guess, that they
They
threw, and they,
released today when we're recording
yeah,
this. So yeah.
yeah, and they had fake mustaches on.
Someone was like, "Oh, that's cute. Like they're undercover too." And I was like, "Oh yeah. Never thought about that." I don't
Oh my God, it's just so funny.
I wonder why those were like released later because it was
I
only
don't
what
know.
two photos. Like,
Yeah.
were they thinking that it was gonna like spoil Chris not being okay or being fine? Because like we had the
Well, that
503
doesn't make
promo
sense.
photos. I
Yeah, that
know.
doesn't. I was like, wait. So maybe it was the Tamara thing. Maybe
I
I
don't
don't know.
know. I don't
Yeah,
know, but maybe they were just like lost and they found them and were like, here. I don't know, but it was just kind of
yeah.
weird to me.
Mhm.
Usually they release like extra promo photos like
Like
after
after
the
the fact.
episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, sorry, we got a little sidetracked. Um, and so like obviously Lucy's like, well, I gotta think about it. Um, but I just thought it was good that like, Chris like kept like encouraging her to do it, because it's a good opportunity. And like we saw, I guess, the like of the other preview, of like later, like he's kind of poking around the site and like telling her all the cool things, like you have to do this. um and like she's like, I'm not leaving you alone. But I appreciated that he was like, well, if you're staying out of guilt, like you shouldn't. um because I mean that's like true, but like I don't know, it was just interesting that like coming from Chris, it didn't like get like she shouldn't feel bad or like shouldn't feel
Yeah.
guilty. Like she got she like pushed back more against that than she did when like Tim says something similar.
Yeah.
So I just thought that's kind of interesting. um I was not expecting the like Chenford scene. Like I
Yeah.
don't know why, I just really wasn't, like I don't know. um but it's like I don't know, like because Chris, I guess, ended up calling Tim and telling him about Lucy getting into the UC school. I don't know why Lucy wouldn't tell Tim that, but of course she hasn't
Because
actually been at the station and they're
yeah, I
not
was gonna
talking
say
really.
they haven't seen
So
each other.
yeah, I guess. But still, I was just like, okay, this is like weird. But then parallel of like Ashley calling Lucy to ask about Kojo.
Yeah.
And now you got Chris calling Tim to tell him
Yeah.
something about Lucy.
Except that was something like personal. And Chris is like, listen, Lucy has this opportunity. She should take it, but she's not going to. Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
But
Um,
I'd love to see it. So
yeah. Um, and I don't know. I just thought it was just Tim showing up and like, asking how Chris is doing, because yes, Chris is on the couch again um in this moment. And like I think people posted about it on Twitter, like his like plastered on smile when he was like, Lucy's taking good care of me. I'm like, good for Chris, but also I'm like, oh, Tim, sorry,
yeah.
dude.
Yep.
Like that sucks. um and oh gosh, it was just, yeah, like I said, I wasn't expecting the like Chenford moment.
So I hear you're on the fence about going to UC school.
Chris called you?
Yeah, which was unexpected. He wanted me to talk to you.
It's not the right time.
He's gonna be fine. You owe it to yourself to go.
I know, but
What happened to him isn't your fault.
we were about to.
But we didn't. We didn't.
Are you trying to get rid of me as your gopher?
No. No, I'm trying to look out for you. It's time for you to move on.
And some time away would be good.
It's a great opportunity, Lucy.
Mm-hmm.
You should go for it.
But just, it's just so nice because it's like their like expressions like mirrored each other, in like their kind of like there are words that they could have said but they didn't.
Hmm.
But obviously there was technically an admission of like, pent up feelings that were going to be like acted on.
Yeah.
Like, so because it wasn't like a like it wasn't a outright like denial like usual. Like it was just a
Yeah.
we were going to. it
Yeah, just yeah.
And I just thought it was kind of funny because like their tone of voice like changed a little bit, like, or I guess volume, I guess is the word I'm looking for. But still, like how Chris is maybe, I mean, maybe he did hear. I don't know. Maybe we, because we don't actually know if
Yeah.
what he heard or didn't hear. But it's comical to me that they take, 2 more steps
Mhm.
outside, still don't think to close the door, and yet, he
Yeah.
may or may not have heard that.
Yeah.
Or even still, though, he wouldn't really know what they're talking about. But like, I don't know. It's all of that. Just there's just little things that are interesting to me about that whole exchange.
Yeah. Well, and like the way that like Tim's voice cracked, Lucy had tears in her eyes, like Tim
Yeah.
did. I was like, I am literally so unwell right now. So
Yeah.
unwell. So
Yeah, because but like I said, like their expressions were similar, like their voices like changed, like there's a lot of weight behind the words that they're saying. They just, don't want to like fully admit like the reason behind
yeah.
that, I think. And so I think it might have been Nikki that was like, Chenford like broke up without actually
Yeah.
dating.
Yeah.
So it's kind of how it is.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, just, they can't really be any more obvious
Right.
about it. Because it's like, well, I mean, Tim could like deny it to Angela, I guess, because
I mean,
she
he
tried
kind of already
again
did. Yeah.
to like, interrogate him and get it out of him. Like, well, why were you there? And he's like,
Yeah.
just dropping her off. Like, he's like, I just want to sit here and eat this burrito. Like, I don't want to talk about this anymore. That was
She
like the vibe.
she is going to get it out of him though. Like you cannot lie to Detective Angela Lopez. Like she is going to get that out of him.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. But, Tim and Lucy can deny it to each other, apparently, even though they didn't really, but still, it's not
Yeah.
all the way, it's not all the way there yet.
I mean,
Or like,
they were basically confessing that like they were gonna like hook up
yeah.
to each
So
other.
they're like 98% there.
Yeah.
Just not 100.
Yeah. They just need like 2 more steps to get there and then they're good. Yeah. And if that means that Tamara, Angela, Jenny Bradford, literally anyone has to push them together, then
Yeah.
that's what it takes.
Especially given the like Jenny stuff, which was also a surprise. Well,
Yeah.
I was surprised. I didn't
Same.
expect it.
It was funny because our friend was like, I wonder what episode like Jenny Bradford comes back. And then like I see her in the preview because I was live tweeting last night. I was like, wonder why she's in the preview unless they're bringing up like Tim's dad again for some odd reason. And then we see Jenny and I was like, oh my God, Emma literally manifested that. So yeah.
Yeah.
But kind of jumping over into the Tim and Jenny stuff, there wasn't much, but like Jenny Bradford's back, and this time it's to sell their childhood home. So, Tim's just like, just sell the house. Like, hopefully we'll get a $500,000 each from it. And Jenny's like not so sure about it. Like, she's kind of nostalgic. She's wanting to make sure that it goes to the right person. And then at the end of the episode, Jenny is like waiting for Tim in the parking garage, and she tells him that she hasn't been completely honest. And he guesses, like he assumes that it's about the phone call from the morning when like he walked up to the house and she was on the phone. And so she's like, yeah, Rob and I are having a hard time, like we're getting a divorce. And she says really like it's for the best. But she like quickly turns the conversation back to the house. And Tim's like, you're feeling nostalgic, like you want to just sell it to the happy family. And she's like, well, I really want to just sell it to the highest bidder because divorce lawyers aren't cheap and I need to cushion the landing into single momhood. So Tim's kind of like on board with that. And, he's like, so is Rob moving out? And she's like, no, actually, I am. And I was thinking of moving to LA if that's cool with you. And Tim's like, it's a great idea. So they hug and we're going to be seeing more of Jenny Bradford, hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah.
Yeah.
I, for whatever reason, almost thought that like she bought the house, and that's like what she wasn't gonna tell him. Oh, you thought that? Okay,
That-
good. I was
yeah.
like, am I reaching? Because she was always the one that was like, but it's our childhood home.
I was
But
thinking
it's
that
this.
too.
Da, da, da. Like,
I was thinking that too.
no.
That or like she was kind of like stalling around with it and she was like, oh,
Yeah.
well, I want to buy it. Like that's what I was thinking. And I was still kind of thinking that, like,
Yeah.
of her saying, well, I want to either put in an offer on it or, like, I
Yeah.
don't want to sell it. I just want to keep it. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I kind of I kind of forgot that she like was married. Like I kind of forgot. I remembered like the kids, but I kind of forgot about the like marriage part. Wow.
Yeah.
Bradfords don't have a good
They
track
don't.
record. Wow.
They don't.
Oh, that's sad. I'm sad for
Because
them.
because even Jenny was like, can you just give me a hug? Because I'm like, I just, said that I'm getting a divorce and like I'm really not fine or whatever.
Oh,
And I was like, oh, Tim knows. I mean, his situation was a little bit
yeah.
different, but like he knows.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And then we did have a little bit on Wesley because the man has made it. From the preview, like we know that it's been at least a week since 501. So it's like his first day at the DA's office. So I'm assuming that it was a Monday then. I don't know. But
Presumably.
yeah. And he's walking into the DA's office. Like the man has made it. He's got his own office, which he did before.
Yay. New office space though. I'm excited. I was
Yeah.
like so giddy. I was like, oh my gosh, new office space. Like, yay.
And his name was on the window. I mean, it's not very
Yeah.
big. We should make it bigger, but like his name's on the window. And there's a lot of case files on his desk. So Del Monte, like, it's like, here's all of your case files. Just, go through them. Let me know what we should pursue. And so like Del Monte checks in on Wesley about the cases, and Wesley's like, yeah, I'm done. I got the gist of them. And Del Monte's not too thrilled about what Wesley's doing, which is knocking down charges when violent crime is on the rise. And Wesley, he's determined to see the best in people. And so Del Monte like reminds him that they didn't hire him so that he could give everyone a free pass. So that kind of like knocks Wesley's like confidence down. But then Angela comes through and calls him, and so like he helps on their case.
Yeah.
And then at the end, Angela and Wesley are like walking to the car in the parking garage, and he was like, oh, I was worried that it was gonna be weird working on the other side, but it might just work out. And Wesley's like, I think I found my niche, like, taking down crooked cops. And Angela's like, don't get too excited. And so I assume that she like slapped him on the butt or something. I don't know, but like, okay,
Oh, I
Angela,
completely
go off.
missed that.
I did too on my first watch, but second watch, I was like, oh, okay. I was like, go off, queen. Like, that's your man. So, yeah. But yeah, that was about it for like the rookie storyline. So,
On that note, apparently, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was good. Like, we got like a lot of like, I don't know, everything just felt like really like fleshed out. And like the like, side storylines still had a lot of, like detail.
Yeah. It feels like it definitely set up for the rest of season 5, or at least the first half of season 5.
Yeah.
Like Wesley doing the DA's office thing, Tim and Jenny, Angela and Nyla's like friendship, and John becoming like a TO. So
yeah. And then whatever the heck happens with Rosalind. Obviously.
Yeah, and Chenford. We're gonna get so much Chenford angst, like it's not even funny at this point, but also like give it all to me because I'm ready.
Yeah.
Ready. And we did have some listener thoughts. You guys had a lot to say about this episode, so we'll get into those before we move on to the rookie feds. You want to take it away with Valerie's?
Yeah, so Valerie had said it was a great episode, loved all of it. She was yeah, but the writers missed a golden opportunity for John to say welcome to the arrest as Aaron ran up. Yeah, being all out of breath. Yep.
Yeah. Ricarda had said, because Jenny will move to LA, I hope for some new scenes with her future sister-in-law. And then she said Timothy shouldn't lie to Detective Lopez. She knows what's going on with Chenford. She also said, can't wait to see photos of Jack and Angela in Wesley's new office. Literally the day that he puts a photo of baby Jack on his desk, I might actually combust. I don't remember if he had that in the old office, but like, yeah. And then Ricarda had said, if Roslyn wanted to kill Chris, she would have done that. And the Chenford scene was so heartbreaking. Lucy will definitely need some time to understand that Tim wants what's best for her. Yeah. I think that's honestly why Tim had said that. Like, that hurt him a lot to say that to her of like she needs to like move
Yeah.
on.
Well, because like
But
he didn't look back when he walked away.
yeah.
He just walked away.
Oh, I feel like if he had looked back when he walked away, like he wouldn't have been able to do it.
Yeah.
But like it kind of parallels when she was like, you could just tell me that you want me to be your aide. Like, because
Yeah.
he knew that that would be a demotion for her or like a sign of a demotion. Like he just wants what's best for her and he just wants to help her grow. I'm like, oh, what a man.
Yep. So M had said that 502 is amazing. Nyla Harper was such a badass. Loved James so much in this episode, and glad we finally got to see them interact this way because like the last time we saw them was like 418 for like their wedding. And then like briefly in the season 5 premiere with the gurney situation.
Yep.
So excited to see or to find out what they name their baby, and like wish we could get to see their whole family together. And also M is like, we need a play date with Lila and Jack soon. All would be kind of fun.
I know. The new baby and Jack. Yeah.
Yeah.
Charlene had said last night was mind blowing. She had used the emoji with like the like blown mind or whatever. And she said that Nyla is a badass mama who will do what it takes. She said that Lopez is gonna continue to be fabulous, which like, yes, give me all of the Lopez goodness. And she said my heart is hurting for Chenford right now. I have to believe that Tim is starting to understand his feelings, but that Lucy needs to be set free. Yeah. I also think that Lucy's coming to the realization too. Like she has to be after the end of this episode and then like in 501, when she was like, "Oh, well, it's just an intimate act. Like we would be dead inside if we didn't feel this way." Like I have to believe that she's coming to realization too, but she's not going to be one of the first ones to admit it. Like it's got to be Tim that does.
Yeah. Elora was like, it was amazing. She loved Nyla and James's storyline, and we love a dramatic rookie baby arrival. Yeah, they're dramatic entrances are, always a fun thing.
Yeah.
They said Chenford will be the death of me. I know they're setting up for this season and pushing them apart so they can fall back together at the right time, but oh, it hurts her heart. Same.
Yeah.
Just their faces, but Eric and Melissa will not, steer the ship in the wrong direction. So they got this, guys.
Bonnie had said that Nyla was a badass and she's surprised that she didn't murder James for not listening to her. Like happy wife, happy life. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I feel like Nyla she knew that James was trying to keep her calm, and so like he was just saying these things to try and do that, but like she's not stupid, like she knows. Bonnie also said that the Chenford scene at the end made her sad. Lucy probably thinks that Tim changed his mind and doesn't want her, whereas like Tim thinks that Lucy's happy with Chris. And she said also the writers need to stop hurting Lucy. I hate seeing her upset. She also needs a friend to talk to. Tim isn't a good option right now. Jackson is no longer around. Tamara is off at college, and then Nyla and Angela have their own lives. So, like, who's gonna be that friend? And Bonnie was hoping that they'd pick back up on the Lucy and Thorsen friendship that we got a hint of last season, but Lucy literally has no one to talk to about what's going on. Plus Roslyn on the loose, plus guilt over Chris and Tim. She said she always listens to others' issues. Why can't someone do the same for her? We're only 2 episodes in. I feel like we could very well see Lucy and Thorsen together again.
Mhm.
Like, because they'll both be P2s and they have to ride with someone, especially if Lucy's not Tim's aide. So I don't know. Bonnie also shared that Alexi said Lucy would spiral, and this stuff with Tim probably serves as that spark for the spiral. And her last thought was, it was a great episode though for the rookie, and really felt like season 2 with the balanced storylines for sure. Yeah, it definitely felt like everyone had a shared amount of screen time.
Mhm. Yeah.
So,
Karen said, I liked that they showed Nolan and Thorsen on patrol. She prefers that to some of the crazy storylines. Yeah, it was like just everything just like flowed nicely.
mhm. Yeah. Tess said, I'm so excited that Jenny is moving to LA and that we'll get to see more of her. Her relationship with Tim is really sweet, and I also feel like Lucy could use a friend right now. And I need Jenny and Angela to meet because I feel like they'd get along as well, and then they can constantly pester Tim about Lucy. There's a lot of ways in which Jenny's character could fit into the group well. And she even threw in that Nolan could even help her with her new house. Yeah.
Yep, definitely. Blessed Turtle said Harper was a badass as usual. And she was like, "Are you kidding me with that shot of her emerging from the water?" Wow. Yeah, it was so well done. Um, Loved seeing Gray and Nolan reflect on how far they've come. Although I do wish Nolan could have struggled a bit training Thorsen, but it's fine. From the 503 promo, it's pretty obvious the struggle is coming for him, like with the new rookie, and they can't wait to see like what happens with that.
Mhm.
And Tim and Lopez were amazing. She's gonna torture him about his feelings, um, and like watching like how he is reacting. That's gonna be like so much fun.
Yeah.
And then glad that we're gonna get more Jenny. Bradford, maybe she can join Angela and Tamara on the Chenford Express. Yeah. Chris was actually supportive of UC school, which they were not expecting. No, he's making it so hard to hate him. He's such a good guy. Yeah, like yeah, he's like just doing all the things that like are like like good boyfriend things, but just
Yeah.
like might like she said, like might be unexpected for some
Yeah.
that just weren't. Of course, who am I kidding? No one saw the 501 ending coming either.
Yeah.
So it's like,
Yeah.
you really don't know what they're gonna do. But anyway, the last thought said, lastly, we have Tim and Lucy. They only had the one scene in this episode, and that was all that was needed. The angst is gonna hurt so good this season, and the payoff will be glorious.
Yep. Mindy had said this was a great episode. Nyla was so badass, and Angela's right. She does have the best birth story. She also said that James should become a doula because he knows his stuff. Um, that would be a really funny, like comedic storyline. I don't know
It
if I
really
see it
would.
playing out a whole lot, but that would be really funny. Um, and then Aaron's look when Nolan asked him where he was hilarious. For some reason it rubbed me the wrong way though when he said Nolan was his favorite TO. Yeah, I
See,
I
there
don't
you
know. I
go.
just thought it was weird. I just
Yeah.
thought it was weird. Like, yeah. She also said, I think that Del Monte might be regretting hiring Wesley, and I hope that next time we see Wesley's office, he puts some family pictures. Lopez makes a great crime-stopping team, and not even Angela can resist him in a suit. I mean, listen, I don't blame her. So, and Mindy also said that she thought Chris was supportive of Lucy and calling Tim was what she needed to make her decision. The episode leads me to believe that he might let her go to Tim in a few episodes without too much of a fight. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we're only 2 episodes in, so we're gonna just have to see how this plays out. So,
Hmm. Yeah. Um, I hope I'm gonna say this person's name right, Dacia.
Daisha.
Oh,
Yeah.
Dacia, sorry. Um, Dacia said Nyla Harper is a badass and a queen. All these Nyla Harper comments. Yay, I'm loving this. Um, delivering a baby and shooting a suspect at the same time. Kudos to her. Yep,
Yeah.
definitely. Um, also loved the interaction with Nolan and Thorsen. Really liked how he complimented Nolan at the end on his teaching style. Cannot wait to see Nolan with his new rookie the next episode.
Yes. Janine had said that both Eric and Melissa did an awesome job with just that one scene, and it really admitting that they were going to do something. Like that was the only scene that we needed for Chenford. She really thinks that if it didn't happen and they were together, that like they would have broken up with Chris and Ashley and tried to be together, and that's really her like ideal way of them getting together. Because like cheating isn't necessarily what all of us want, but like if they broke up with their significant others, like it would be fine. And then she said Angela and Tim need to team up more often because the two best friends were just amazing together. And she said her favorite part was Angela calling them out, and the only thing that would have been better was if she had said the famous line, "You are a lying liar who lies." Yeah. Um, and she said, let's talk about Tim Bradford's moves to take down that suspect because wow, literally same. And the guy was like so close to Tim. I was like, dude, back
Mhm.
up a little
I
bit.
don't know what it is with like guys. They like get so close to each other and like in each other's
Yeah,
face. It's so like bizarre to me. But I mean, it's like dramatic and
yeah.
all that. So it
So
works.
then Janine also said, Jenny Bradford, how we missed you. She was hoping that she would message Lucy and ask how she was. Um, and I know that she had like a lot on her mind with selling the house and the soon to be divorce. But she's excited that she's gonna be moving closer to Tim so we can see her in more episodes. Janine's also hoping that between Jenny and Angela, hopefully they can get Chenford back on track. Yeah. And then she said Nyla is the definition of a badass mama. Nobody was gonna hurt her hubby or her baby. And Sergeant Gray coming to the rescue. Like, just love that man, and he needs to be on the field more. Yeah, same.
Yep.
So, do we have any other notes on the rookie before we dive into feds?
I don't think so.
All right, let's go into feds because, like, man, we're only gonna like kind of like briefly go over it because like obviously it's already been a week since the first episode,
Yeah.
but like this show, I love this cast already. So
Yeah, it's so good. And like, oh my God, it's so good. And it just makes my heart happy.
yeah, literally the way that everyone had started shipping Laura and Brendon after one episode, like that's how you know that we're all down bad. Like
Yeah.
Alexi Holly knows what to write to make us ship characters like right off the bat.
Yep.
I
Well,
was
and
also
like,
excited.
yeah. Well, and like my whole thing is just like, because like I had put that in my wish list, right?
Yeah,
And so my whole thing is just like, you can't put like two pretty people like that just like in the cast and
yeah,
expect me not to like ship them.
yeah.
Like, you just can't. Um,
I
and
was
like,
just excited because like obviously we hadn't watched The Rookie live from episode one. So like now like we're gonna get to like watch Feds from like episode one, literally
yeah.
titled Day One. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's exciting.
Yeah. So we're gonna start with Simone Clark, and she's trying to prove herself. Which she I don't know, it was just like a good like, because she's kind of like, like, yes, the whole thing with the terrorists is like acknowledged from like the rookie, but still like she really is like still just kind of starting from the ground and has to
Yeah,
work her way up again.
yeah,
But it starts off Simone is arriving in LA um, from DC. And like John's there. Yeah, John is there to greet her and like help her with her bags and stuff. She's nervous about her first day, and it's like, as as a Black woman, you can't rest on your laurels, and like you have to be ready to prove yourself every day and like armor up. Um, and John had said that if she needs someone to armor up next to her, then he's there. Um, and it was just good, like because like while Simone's working, even though it's initially not like what she thought, she's still using her skills like that she had from her guidance counselor, like prove herself. Like she's flipping through the files like really easily, and like she's able to just study, like from studying people for so long and interacting with people, she's just able to like notice how some of these applications look good and others don't. It just kind of sucks though that like she was like shut down so soon with like trying to point out that like the one guy that was like going from an engineer and now is applying for a janitor job is like, she thought it was odd, but the like her temporary new boss that's not Garza, was like, yeah, well, it's okay. Like, just doesn't even really give it like a second thought.
Yeah.
But she's not easily deterred. She's charming. She is persuasive, and she uses that to her advantage.
And she follows her gut too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, it also helps that she knows people in the LAPD, like John and Angela. I thought it was cool that we got to see Angela, like, interrogate the guy with Simone. I just thought it was funny though when like Angela calls and like, well, John said you were, like a part of this, team. And she's like, yeah. And she's like, do I need to call someone else? She's like, no, I'll be over in like, 5 minutes. It's fine. Like she's managed to kind of like fib her way into that. And it was just cool because it's like she is confident, and like that doesn't really like, it doesn't waver very easily too. Like and just she knows she's very resourceful. Like she texted John for backup in the episode as well, which I thought was, she just like thinks on her feet kind of, and just she has lots of skills, which is like, I'm glad she ended up where she ended up, because it's like all of these things like just like culminate really nicely. And like Jennifer, you're going to touch on it a little more detail like later, but it's just like she's continually showing how like good she'd be in the specialized unit instead of the background check unit, which, side note, I didn't even know that was a thing. Like, I didn't know that they had one like unit or like team of people working on exclusively going through all those files.
I mean, it makes sense because they have like more bureaus and stuff like all across the country, but I didn't think about it.
No.
Like it makes sense though, but no, I like how she's unapologetically like herself too.
Yeah.
Like she's like, I'll ask for forgiveness later, but like I'm gonna go ahead and do this now. So but we did have like a main case with the federal engineer, and so like Garza is asking Tracy how like DC was. And she's like, it was frustrating. And she starts to talk to him about like the special unit and how counter it is to the FBI ethos. And Garza's like, well, the Bureau needs an upgrade. And that's why it's important to have the special unit, like less process, more police work. And Garza tells Tracy that the Bureau needs a rapid response unit that can jump in on fast moving cases. And Tracy's like, what you're trying to do is a threat. And then she throws in that like she might be a little less concerned had he not picked Laura and Carter to join the team. And Garza stands up for them, saying that they're experts in their field and out of the box thinkers. And I love that like he was standing up for them, like because at this point we hadn't seen like a whole team like interaction. So it's just assumed that like he's talked to them before. Like before this interaction with Tracy. And so then Tracy like tells Garza that if his unit screws up in any way, like she'll shut it down. So and then we see Simone and Brendon like enter the bullpen, and like Carter and Laura walk up to them, and we find out that Laura and Brendon are partnered up. And it turns out that Laura, Brendon, and Carter are all going to be in the special investigative unit, and Simone's unfortunately not, like, background check unit. And she like sees Garza, she wants to get everything ironed out, but like turns out that it's true. So Garza like starts briefing the three on the case, and we find out that it's a murder case that they caught from LAPD. And Brendon, I thought that this was a really like good parallel and callback. Like he had a moment just like the other rookies did when like they saw a dead person for the first time, and he just kind of like got like a little like woozy. It wasn't even like he had seen the dead person like at the crime scene. It was pictures.
Yeah.
So that was a little different, but like I do like how they kind of called that back and like brought that back into like the rookie feds. And Laura doesn't miss a trick, like she notices that. So then like they're driving to the crime scene, she asks like what he's wearing, and he's like, oh, like I'm wearing Ted Baker, this designer. And she's like, no, like I meant, what are you wearing? Like the suit might have looked good on the red carpet, but like it's not appropriate for the field. And he's like, oh, is it too stylish? And she's like, no, it's too tight. And I was like, tight? Like, why did you use that word?
I was like, where is this going? I was like, I had no idea.
I was like, am I gonna like have to close my ears here? Like, what's going on? Oh my God. But also, like, I loved how they were in the car together. And like, obviously, it's not like a police car, like, it's a like swanky looking like SUV.
Yeah.
And she just looks like so tiny driving that. I was like, oh.
Yeah, I mean, she is. Yeah, I've watched her on so many other things. She is just like really like petite and tiny.
I loved it though.
Yeah, it was so cute. I just loved that. Like, okay, so you know how like Niecy Nash is always like, cops have to be, like cute to like stop crime or whatever. I'm honestly kind of surprised that like Simone like let Brendon just like walk in on his first day in that suit. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it's just, I mean, obviously for the storyline, but still, I was just like,
oh my God,
okay, you guys are like friends, and like you didn't really think to like, give him some fashion advice.
Yeah. I don't know. She likes to be cute. So I mean, I could see like her thinking that suit was like nice or whatever.
That's true.
I don't know.
If it looks good.
But when Laura was like, it's too tight, I'm like, wait, what? Like, why are you thinking about that? I don't know. Like my mind was in the gutter or something, apparently. So then like she asks why he looked away from the crime scene. She is a very blunt person. Like she really is not She's shying away. She's not beating around the bush. I love that. And he just denies it. She's like, the biggest sin in the bureau is lying. So like you might as well just tell me the truth. And he's like, I spent 6 years covered in blood on, as a vampire cop, so I have a little PTSD about it. And she shuts that down quickly, and she's like, no, it sounds like it's an aversion reaction, and you're gonna have to get over it because you'll be seeing a lot more blood on this job. And then like we go over to the crime scene, and Smitty is there, and this man gives a rundown on like what they saw. And then like he sees Brendon, and he fanboys over the vampire cop actor, and he's like, I loved your show, like I watched every episode, and Carter's just like, is this gonna happen a lot? And Brendon's like, yeah, probably, except my fan base is usually a bit younger. And Smithy just like kind of recoils, and he's just like, take it back. And I just love the way that like Brendon was caught off guard, and he's like, yeah, like this will probably happen. So then like Smitty sees his chance. Obviously, this man does not miss a trick. And he asks Carter if he can have Brendon sign an autograph because like Brendon goes outside and stuff. And Carter's like, what? No, like I'm not gonna have him sign that. I so wish that we had seen Carter's face in that moment, because James Lesure, I know, would have given a great expression.
Yeah.
So then like Simone like FaceTimes Brendon because he's like in the middle of like dry heaving over here. Like this man, he's seen blood and like
He's like, not a good time. I'm in the
yeah.
middle of like I'm having a moment here. Like, no, thank you.
Like she needed a pep talk and like she ends up helping him then, like
Yeah.
in that moment.
Mhm.
Which one I just love how like they're BFFs. Like we
Yeah.
saw a lot of their friendship in this episode. It was so
Yeah.
good. So then like Brendon starts chasing after him, like, hopping a fence, sliding across car. And I was like, first episode, like I'm in love with Brendon Akers. Like I am here
Right.
for him. That's it.
Yeah.
So then like he ultimately takes down the suspect and then also rips his pants. And yeah,
Yeah.
it was just too good. So then like Carter comes up, Carter and Laura come up and Carter like picks up Brendan's phone to see Simone on the other end and she's like, "Hey, Agent Hope, did like Brendan happen to catch the guy?" And Carter's just like, "I'm hanging up now."
Yeah, I like
Oh,
how you could actually see like the FaceTime.
yeah. And the
Like
cracked phone screen. Did you notice
yeah.
that?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know because like I guess I probably could have mentioned it at the beginning of like the like Brendon like fighting off the guy with a baseball bat at Simone's school when she was going back, to say bye to her kids,
Yeah.
like for her guidance counselor job. How did he not like, mess up his clothes like then? Because he was like
Right.
swinging around and, like fighting the guy, like, whatever.
Yeah.
I guess it just must have been like the like
Way that he did it or
gravity. I
something.
don't know. Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
I guess it's just interesting.
Yeah.
Like the chain of events, I guess.
Yeah. His boxer choice was interesting too. I mean, it was. And then like Laura comes up and she's like, "I knew that was
So
gonna
funny.
happen." Like, oh my
Yeah.
God. It
I
just
just thought it was so funny. Oh my
good.
god. Yeah.
So then like Laura, says that they've struck out, like the tattoo that they're looking for is in the federal database. So then like Simone enters and she shares the guy's name because she got it from LAPD. And Garza like gives her a pointed look and he's like, "How do you know that?" And she's like, "Listen, I could have lone wolfed on this, but I'm a team player and I'm waiting for instructions on what to do next." Um,
Yeah.
and so
Oh
like,
my god.
what?
It was so funny because he was like, she was like, "Well, promise you're not gonna get mad." And he's like, "No,
Yeah,
tell me now." Like he didn't
so
care.
good.
He was
It
like,
was so good.
just oh my god.
I love how like, well, Carter and Garza were like so blunt with her in this episode.
Yeah.
But like she even shares that if she can have like an hour or so, like she could get an address for him because she's part of a national network of guidance counselors. I didn't know that that was a thing. I mean, it might not actually be a thing, but like who knows. So then like Garza and Laura are talking like because they're like at the warehouse or building or whatever that like they busted. And Garza's just like, "What is Brendon wearing?" Which are the fierce sweatpants. And Laura's like, "Why did you have to choose a half-assed actor to join the unit out of all the probies?" And Garza's like, "Brendan's a chameleon, and think of all the undercover ops that we could run with him. Like, you know, you should like it'll be fine." So then Garza asks Brendon like if he aced the computer course in the academy, and Brendon like starts telling him more about like what he's done in the past, like job wise, not even like what he did in the academy. Until Laura's like, "It was a yes or no question. Like just answer yes or no." And she keeps it in line, which like I really like.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was just
Because she's so little, but she's fierce. She's
yeah,
like, it was not an invitation Hollywood to give a TED talk. Like,
yeah,
no. And
yeah.
he just, oh my God. And then he's just so like sunshiny and is like, oh, sorry. Like, he's so, oh my God. Just, they're
Uh,
great.
literally, we started shipping them from like moment one that we saw them.
Love
So then like Garza, tells Simone that like scraping the suspect's skin for DNA was clever, reckless, but clever. And Simone's like, "Does that mean like I'm working for you again tomorrow?" And he's like, "It depends on the results." So then like we, kind of make it to the end of the day. Simone and Brendon are eating some fries by the food truck, talking about their day, which was like another callback to the rookie. Like, oh my gosh, it was so fun. I loved it. And I almost wonder Like, was it the same parking lot, the same food trucks? Probably not, but like
Oh,
a girl can
oh
dream.
man. Yeah.
So then Brendan's, Brendan's like, I feel like I'm back in the academy, and Simone's like, me too. But we proved to them wrong before, and we can do it again. And they do their little handshake. Like we saw this twice now, like in the
Mhm.
episode.
So good. I
And
just like how they started off as friends. Like we didn't need like a,
yeah,
because I was thinking like, oh, they're gonna meet like when they both get there or whatever. But
yeah,
it was like, no, they both like came up in the academy, like at
yeah,
Quantico together and graduated, just like the rookies on the rookie did.
yeah. They're like another Lucy and Jackson. I mean, I feel like I could
Oh,
say like
yeah.
Lucy and Nolan, but like no, we'll say
No.
Lucy and Jackson, or like
Yeah.
Jackson and Nolan maybe.
Yeah.
Anything to avoid Lucy or whatever that was. Stupid one. So
Yes.
so then yeah, so he shares that like he made 9 mistakes, and he's like, yeah, I actually made 9, like, but who's counting? And he's like, but I did get some tea on my training agent Stenson. And Simone's like, spill the tea right now. And so it turns out that Garza's niece, Elena, gave him the lowdown, and we get to hear a little bit more about Laura, who was the youngest agent to ever be accepted into the behavioral science unit. Like, she had a meltdown when she found out that like her fiance cheated with her BFF. And Simone's like, I can't believe that. Like, she's out here like tracking down serial killers, and she couldn't even like find a serial cheater that was right under her nose. And so Simone's like, well, what about Carter? And Brendan's like, all I know is that the bosses all seem to respect him until it comes time for promotion. Like, he's been passed over for years. Um, so then like we cut over to Carter and Laura, and they're talking. They're like, having some fries or whatever, but they're not like out by the food trucks. They're like in the hall of the bureau or something. And so Laura like shares that she gave Sam back the ring, and Carter's like the ultimate BFF and is like, legally that ring is your property. Like, it's an implied gift. And Laura's like, I did it for my own emotional health. Like, I just needed closure. And so Carter's like, what you need is a vacation, and that ring could have bought you one. And Laura's just like, well, I can't take any more time off. Like, my career's hanging on by a thread. And so Carter's just like, yeah, it's a good thing that you don't have a problematic trainee, which is interesting because like Simone wasn't even his trainee at this point.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so then like we see a little bit more about Carter. He like goes back to a hotel room, and Tracy is waiting there for him. At this point, I legit thought that Tracy and Carter were like hooking up. I was like,
Yeah.
okay,
I didn't like, I don't know, because I was just like, okay, this Tracy person's like bugging Garza. Like, why is she,
mhm,
like going over to Carter? Like, I don't know. I just wasn't expecting this like story, like this subplot.
yeah. So it turns out that like Tracy wants Carter to be a mole to take Garza down in exchange for a promotion. And Carter's like, no, I'm not doing that. So Simone and Brendon like walk in the next day. She hopes that Carter can like put in a good word for her with Garza. And it turns out that she's on the team and that they got a hit on the DNA. So I love how like at one point in the episode, Simone had asked Carter like if she could drive, and Carter was like, no, like you
Yeah.
cannot. Um, and I just love how they're all like so blunt with her. But then like they're in the air to get Lennox and Tristan, and this is the first time that we see the jet, which is pretty cool.
Yeah,
And
private jet.
yeah, which was that the same jet that was on the rookie in 501?
I
I
don't
feel like it
think
was.
so. I mean, maybe it might have been
Like,
slightly like styled different or just from the angles.
well, I meant like the exterior of it.
Oh,
Like,
exterior. Oh, yeah,
yeah,
for sure.
yeah. Like obviously the interior was probably a set or whatever.
Yeah.
Um, so they get in there to get Tristan slash Lennox, and Laura's like giving a rundown on thieves, like Lennox, who like to perfect their craft, and anything that he targets next will be bigger and riskier. And Simone just shares that like some of her most troubled kids, it was less about what they were doing and more about what they weren't doing. And so she's like, Lennox isn't breaking and entering. There's never been a sign of forced entry. So they come to the conclusion that he's got someone on the inside. And Simone's like, that janitor rushed background check that I had, like, I knew that there was something up with that. So there's a quote unquote fire in the federal building, and Lennox's team responds as firefighters. So Simone's just like, well, we should go after the money that shouldn't be traced, because even if we go after the money that is traced and they get it, like they're not going to be able to spend it. So they come across Lennox's crew and the shootout ensues. Like we get a little moment between Brendon and Laura, and she asks if his own blood like freaks him out. And so he's like, no, it doesn't. What does that psychologically mean? And she's like, it means that you're a weirdo. Like these two with their like little banter. I'm
Yeah.
so here for it. So
Yeah.
here for it. So then Carter and Simone are still on the hunt and like come across a laser, and stepping over it like triggers an explosion. And so like just as Lennox and the team member like get up to the car at the parking garage, Carter and Simone come up and like arrest them. So I like how we had two badass like little teams, and I hope that we get to see more of them. Um, so Laura like noticed Garza like taking a pill in the jet. And at the end of the episode, like she talks to him about it, and she puts it all together, figures out that like he had a heart attack, and he shares that like he had a stent put in, and that the information has to stay between them because like if he has surgery, it'll be months of recovery and they'll shut the unit down, and like he does not want that. And so he's like, if you're concerned about my health, like you can help reduce my stress by training Brendon and train him right, because the unit has to succeed. So then, like at the end of the episode, the end of the episode like left us with a lot of like loose ends, which they'll set up for season 1, I'm sure. But like Brendon's agent calls him, and she has a job for him with his dream director, but like we never actually see his response. And then Carter's going home when Tracy stops him and like brings up the job offer again, along with like his failing marriage and family. And then like Brendon walks in and asks Laura what she thinks of his outfit, like because I think we're supposed to assume that that's another day. And she's like, "What do you want? An award for best dress?" And he's like, "No, I mean it wouldn't be my first, but." And I think like at least at that point is when I started really shipping them, because I was like, all right, I've had a full episode now to like love them, and I need them together, or at least like I don't know, kind of bantering back and forth more.
Yeah.
And then we saw like Carter and Simone partnered up, and Simone was like, so does that mean that I'm on the team? And like she's hoping that they'll help and teach each other. And he's just like, this is gonna be the longest like 18 months. So yeah. But yeah, their probationary period is 18 months there, which it makes sense because they're feds, so they have more to learn. But yeah, that's kind of it for like the main case on feds. It was a lot, but it was also like the first episode, like we were setting the stage for it. So yeah.
Yep. So we had a little bit on Kari and Simone. Simone's like staying with her dad until she can find a place that's like big enough for her and her boys when they like visit from college. And while he doesn't mind that she's staying there, he's like apprehensive about like his place in the community because like he's, like a pillar for, like almost like against the police. Like he's, like his cause is like everything that like Simone like stands for. And he's like, I can't really do any of my work if I have the, police like right under my roof. And his worry is kind of like proven right when he has a woman over who needed some legal help, but then like Simone strolled in with her badge on, and the woman left in a hurry, like, and Cuddy was like, essentially like, I told you so, like that this was gonna happen. And like she didn't mean for it to happen, but it just it just caused a little bit of tension between them just because they are on kind of opposite sides of this issue.
Yeah.
And I mean they do eventually mend things, which is good. They had two conditions, according to Cuddy. He was like, one, like no badge or like, gun in the house, because like in his house, like she's his daughter, not an FBI agent. And two is for her to pick up dinner like locally to support like the eateries in town because, he's a part of the community too. So they're just, like they're trying to forge that bond and like, make it something that can work despite their differences.
Mm-hmm.
So it's good. Hope to see more of it because yeah, I like knowing backstory on characters. So
Yeah. I understand why he was like that, but I was also like, you're really gonna like not let her stay there when she's just getting her feet on the ground in LA. Like, I don't know. I understand it, but I'm also like, dude, that's like your daughter. I don't know. I mean, it's not like she's forcing her agenda like on him, but
yeah.
I also never really noticed the badge. Like when she strolled in and, she was like, "Oh, like who's this lady?"
Mhm.
I didn't notice it. And I watched the episode like 3 times, but I was like typing notes, so that could have very well been why. But yeah. I don't know. Feds was really good. It was like a strong premiere, I thought. It was good.
Yeah. That's good.
And they had done so much promo and like they still continue to do promo on like who the characters are and stuff. So I feel like we're definitely gonna like get to learn a lot of backstory on them. Um, but a couple of listeners did have thoughts. So Mindy had said she loved the first episode. She liked Simone more than she did in like the backdoor pilot. And she loved Brendon. He seems more reserved than the other rookies that we've met, and I like that. He did seem really reserved. I was like, okay, and I think that's why I liked him so quickly because I was like,
Yeah.
he doesn't seem like he's like out to be the best, at
Yeah.
least not yet. Um, and she said it'd probably be a bit much if he was as outgoing as Simone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, I think like he's just trying to fly under the radar until he can kind of like,
Mhm.
like just really prove himself as like an agent as
Yeah.
opposed to like, oh, okay, I'm this actor that's trying to be an agent. Like he wants to just be like so legit.
Especially because like we saw Elena be like, "Oh, I loved you on Fire Cop." And then also like we saw Smitty being like that, and you could tell like he was kind of thrown off when people were
Yeah.
saying that. Even in the beginning, like when we saw him and Simone at, the high school that she was
Yeah.
working at previously, like there was a student that went up to him and he's just kind of thrown off like this isn't what I'm doing now. So
Yeah.
um Mindy had said she really hopes that everything is going to be okay with Garza, and he had a nice vibe. And then she said Carter and Laura are awesome as well, along with Elena. And it did have some similarities to the rookie, but I thought that they did a good job of mixing things up just enough. Same. Yeah. There was some similarities, but I was like, okay, I could separate the two. I wasn't like, oh my God, this is another rookie show. This is like Feds. Like there were, I don't know, more like the show was just built a little different. So
Yeah.
yeah.
The one thing I will say though is I kind of wish the title card was different, like the color scheme of the title
Yeah.
card for Feds, because like their like whole thing is kind of like purpley orange, like
Yeah.
warmer tone. And then like, well, I mean, I guess the rookie is now too, because they have the orange and yellow.
Yeah.
But still, like, I don't know. I just kind of thought it was gonna be like a slightly different color scheme for the title card. But that's just me being nitpicky. So
Yeah.
it's so cool.
I feel like they're just trying to keep it like in brand though.
Yeah.
But
Alora had said, I was pleasantly surprised. Great cast of interesting characters, and I'm excited to see how it all plays out for them. Yeah.
Em said that she already loves the team dynamic and was already attached to the characters. She's definitely looking forward to learning more about them and seeing each of them grow. Same. I'm excited because in the new episode that airs tonight, Tuesday, like we're seeing Chenford obviously in this episode. And like the promo photos, we get Brendon and Laura and Chenford together. Like
that sent me. Like you guys don't understand. Like my level of like excitement, like it's not even like really just like the characters. I mean it is, but it's not. It's like literally like all my favorite actors from different shows are like in the same scene and I'm like having a moment.
Yeah.
It's so great.
Really. And then like we see like Brendon and Lucy like taking a selfie. I'm gonna need like the actual selfie of that. Please. And like Tim and Laura just like looking like disapprovingly. I'm ready. I'm ready.
Yeah.
And I mean, even the promo for it looks really good too. Like,
Mhm. Yeah.
Simone's like, oh, he is packing. Like, so
Yeah. I was happy to be like proven wrong when I was saying, because I honestly thought it would be like, Tim and Carter were like bonding, but nope, Laura is just as no nonsense as, Tim is, and like training. Just because I didn't expect them to have like training agents, at least not for like Brendon. I don't know why though. I just didn't really
the training
expect it.
agents are like TOs though.
Yeah, I don't know. I just wasn't putting it together like that. But
Yeah. I am excited to see how the rest of season 1 plays out though. Like
Mhm.
because they've so much that they could build on. But yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll see. We're
Yeah.
like we're starting a new show and like we're getting like what we hope to be Chenford era on the other.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
let's do this. Like
Yeah.
what do you have? 2022, 2023 TV
Yeah.
season. Like bring it on.
So I'm like assuming, are we supposed to be thinking that like this is like the rookie feds timeline is not exactly in line with the rookie? Because then obviously Lucy's not going off to UC school or whatever if she's,
I think that's right.
like over the, like overhanging with the feds for a bit. Like I don't, because then like she and Tim are obviously interacting. And they're
That's
both over there.
right. I never thought about that. Maybe we'll get more clarification on the weird rookie timeline.
Or they'll just make it more
Universal.
confusing, in which case I'm gonna give up right now. But
Yeah.
I'll be happy to be wrong again if that's,
That is really interesting because I mean, is it supposed to be believed that like rookie feds like Simone's first day was the same week as like the 501 stuff because it wasn't, was it? Like I don't
Well, I
know.
don't know, because like they mentioned Garza though, and like they're aware of the
Yeah.
case. Then we see in 503, the rookie, they're gonna have Laura and
Yeah, Garza
Garza
there.
come over. Oh geez, I don't know.
I don't know, but I'm so here for these like mini little crossovers. They're not even mini because like, well, I guess they are because they could do like a 2-hour episode again, but like they're mini in that like we get like 1 or 2 people like kind of crossover. So, but like if we get it for the first, well, we'll have it for the first 2 episodes of Feds and then like the 3rd episode of the rookie. Like that's like what, 3 weeks
Yeah.
or so, or no, 2 weeks. 2 weeks
Yeah.
of crossovers. Yeah. My math is weird. And it was really like weird doing this outline and like talking about rookie feds like a week after and then like outlining for the rookie, but like not knowing the episode yet. It was just weird. But yeah. So
Yeah. Hopefully this works for you guys. If you're confused, it's okay. We kind of are too. So
yeah.
hopefully it makes sense.
Honestly, we're just going with the flow. Hopefully, if the rookie feds gets picked up for another night, for like another season, I'm manifesting that it moves over to Sunday nights because
Yeah, or just, I
let
mean,
me
if they have to
just
move the rookie over to Tuesday, that's fine. Just put them on one
yeah.
night.
Honestly, it just makes so much more sense. Literally, all of the other shows with the universes are on the same nights. Like, just make them be same night.
Yeah.
So yeah, but
yeah. And do we have anything else aside from that
I
manifestation?
don't think so. I don't think so.
I don't think so either, because I'll be live tweeting for 102 of Feds tonight, I guess, when people are listening to this. So you guys will understand my excitement through exclamation points in all caps, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah, when you get Brendon and Laura, which I think we've dubbed as Brenson now.
Yeah.
Like Kevin called it like Laura Acres or something.
Yeah.
When we get Brenson and Chenford on the same screen, you're like done. You're done.
No, I am. I'm so like, oh my God. Just like it's not, I mean, yes, I am excited to see like Kevin and Melissa, but like I'm just even more excited to see like Britt and Eric. Like I can't really even explain it. I just am.
Yeah.
Like oh my God. It's just so cool.
It'll be
like,
so good.
Oh yeah. So on that lovely note, You guys can find us on Twitter at shoptalkpod_ or email us at shoptalktherookiepodcast@gmail.com with all of your thoughts. And you can find us individually on Twitter as well. I'm at Kari Hyman and Jennifer is
At jstark804.
And if you guys liked this episode of Shop Talk, you guys, leave us a rating or review. It just, really helps out the podcast and we would really appreciate it. And we also have a TeePublic store, obviously. So check it out if you want some rookie merch. It was so cool to see like Melissa post M's design on Instagram.
Yeah.
Of what was it? I didn't choose the Chenford life chose me or something to that effect. And so that was cool. And obviously, go ahead.
Even in one interview, she was like, "Yeah, like the rookie fandom, like there's merch, like
I heard that, and I was like, oh my god!"
I was like, "Listen, I know that there's like multiple designers, and like all we've really done is like a few things and like the squad goal shirts, but like I am looking at all of my talented creative friends right now and like applauding them because we were all just like called out in an interview. Like, how cool is that?"
Yeah, for sure. And so obviously TeePublic has, a lot of sales. So keep an eye out for like discounted things. And okay, I didn't see, this is why I really should read before I speak. Because apparently we'll even be dropping some merch for the Rookie Feds. So that's cool. Yeah. Okay, I'm excited about that. I'm gonna get my hands on that for sure. So you guys can too, very soon. And another reminder, you guys will actually be hearing from us on another podcast this week. It's called Streaming with Sam, and it'll be released on Thursday. So yeah, that'll be fun. We're excited about that, to just like, chit chat about more things, entertainment and TV, like, what else?
And of course the rookie and rookie feds, but like we'll also be talking about like what shows we're streaming and stuff. So it'll
be fun. And next week we will be back covering 503 of the Rookie and 102 of the Rookie Feds. Wow, that's complicated.
I know. It's so weird that like we're talking about two shows now.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, I never thought that like the Rookie would get a spinoff, but
no, I didn't either. Which reminds me, I have to change our bio on Twitter.
I already did. So
okay, good.
Yeah.
Oh god. Yeah. It's too late. I've had a long day, guys. This is what you get. Like, I'm just whatever. I'm just having a whole separate conversation that doesn't need to be in here, but it's fine.
I mean, listen, like it just it has to happen. Yeah. So but with that, we'll be back next week. Bye everyone.
Bye guys.
Go get 'em, boo.